Alrighty, welcome back everyone. Scarland here bringing you a new Neverwinter video. And today we're continuing our discussion on Mod 19 preview. We're on the preview server, and as the title suggests, we're going to be looking at the Insignia changes. The Insignia's got a huge overhaul, and in my opinion, they're a lot easier to obtain as well as upgrade now. So, for purposes of the video, we're going to hop over to console. I'm going to show you the old system, and then we're going to compare that to the new system. So let's go ahead and hop over to Xbox for a few minutes. Alright guys, and here we are on the live servers. We're on Xbox currently, and this is the old system that they implemented to upgrade Insignias to Legendary. So when Legendary Insignias came out, this is the first system that they implemented, and let's be honest, it was a hassle because the prices went haywire when we got Legendary Insignias for the first time. So if you're new to the game and you're not aware of what the system looks like, this is what it looks like. So for instance, we have a Regal Insignia of Prosperity. Now it's going to cost you 25,000 refinement points, and then you have to have another epic Regal Insignia. You have to have 4 rare Insignias, and then the bottleneck when this system came out was the green Insignias, because before they introduced this system, green Insignias were pretty much worthless. So once this information broke, everyone bought out the market on everything, anticipating that, we now have legendary Insignias. Now, depending on your platform, Legendary Insignias, they could be very cheap, they could be mid-tier or expensive. Everyone leans toward the dominance and the brutalities for DPS, and then Prosperity, even Gong for tanks, for the HP and defense. So this system wasn't horrible, but they have now even simplified this even more, which we'll discuss here momentarily. But you can see that if I wanted to upgrade this Prosperity, I would not only have to have another epic, but I also have to have 4 rare and 8 green. You also notice that it is a 100% ratio, and let's go ahead and jump back on to the preview server, and I'll show you guys the difference. Alright guys, and here we are back on preview server, looking at the Mod 19 changes. So, clearly, there is going to be a new currency. We have Insignia Powder now. Now this will go up to 100,000 power you can accumulate. You can see on my screen that I've just accumulated like almost 3,900. So if we look at the new Insignias now, you can take a green one, upgrade it to a blue one. You can take a blue one, upgrade it into an epic, and then you can take that epic and upgrade it into a legendary. So how do we get this new powder? Well, that's pretty easy. You just take any insignia and they all have value. So if we right click on this, now it says convert to insignia power. This is worth 2. If you want to write down these numbers so you have the numbers, green insignias when you turn them into powder are worth 2. The blue ones, convert it into 10. An epic will convert into 50 powder. And then finally, I didn't have a legendary already, I'm sorry. The legendary will turn into 250 if we look at it. 250 powder. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the overall system here. So we have a green insignia. You'll go to refine, brings up the new interface, right? It's still going to cost you RP, refinement points. And it's going to take you 20 insignia powder to go from a green to a blue. Now notice that there is a ward tab here, just like on the old interface. However, as it sits right now, it's still a 100% ratio. Now, are they going to change this and make us use wards? Is it going to be like enchantment upgrading? I don't know. This system is so easy right now. It is going to be so easy for new players to really accumulate legendary insignias now. That I don't know. I don't know if they're going to put wards here to try to have some kind of wall. Otherwise, this entire system is just so easy. Like, there's no excuse for new players not to have legendary insignias a lot faster than they would previous. Like, obviously, they're still going to have to accumulate the green insignia. They're still going to have to accumulate powder. And they're going to have to accumulate RP. But the sheer fact that it's a 100% ratio, I mean, I don't know your guys' personal opinions, I mean, I can see the pros and cons to this, but as a business aspect, I mean, this is a fine opportunity to not make this 100% and still put Prez Wards in here, right? Like, the company has to make money, guys. So, let's go ahead. We'll upgrade this. Bada bing, bada boom. And there you go. So, it costs 10,000 refinement points, 20 powder. Continue. We'll look at it again. So now we're going from a blue to an epic. Again, 100% ratio, no wards, 50,000 refinement points. So it's still going to cost you refinement points, guys. Even though the new reagent is powder, you're still going to be using a lot of RP during this process. So to go from blue to epic, you're looking at 50,000. And then as far as the powder goes, it looks like you need 100. So we'll go ahead, pop this through. Bada bing, bada boom. Again, 100 powder, 50k refinement points. Continue. Now to go to the legendary, 100,000 refinement points, still 100%, and 500 powder. So to keep this in perspective, 500 powder is essentially 2 legendary insignias to begin with. So if you have 2 legendary insignias that are junk and you're going to scrap them, basically 2 legendary insignias will upgrade a purple to a legendary. So let's say we had 2 bad ones here. These are worth 250 each. You smack them, into the powders, and then you got 500 powders, and you can take a epic 2 legendary. So we'll go ahead, upgrade it, and bada bing, bada boom, guys. 500 powder, 100,000 refinement points. Again, 100% ratio, and there you go. Now let's have a nice little discussion. When are we going to see mythic insignias? That's the real question. They've simplified this system. They've put in a new reagent, which is the powder. We can undoubtedly foretell the future that there will be another version of insignias. Are they going to call it mythic? Are they going to upgrade the icon to like the cyan color or whatever the mythic color is? The light blue, cyan blue. We don't know. Is that going to happen in mod 20? Is that going to happen in mod 21? We can't simply tell the future, but I mean, come on. It's a legendary. Most legendaries go to the next tier of mythic. We have never seen mythic rings yet. We don't have mythic gear yet. We just now are introduced into mythic mounts. So at what point in the game are we going to see the statistical boost of going from legendary to mythic with more stats on the items then? It's inevitable. It's going to eventually come. Now they have a system in play where you can see what it's going to look like. So I can already tell to go to a mythic, it's probably going to cost 1,000 powder and like 500,000 RP or something. Or 200,000 RP, whatever the RP goes for. And then the powder will probably go from 500 to 1,000. So that's my assumption, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it, either in mod 20 or mod 21, a little further down the line. It's obviously not coming in mod 19, as we know yet. I mean, again, this is still preview, and maybe toward the end of preview cycle, they might be, surprise, So I don't know how I overall feel about this. Some other content creators have made videos, specifically Nick Flo, and told everyone to panic buy green insignias. I'm sorry, Nick, that's really bad advice, okay? When you're looking at the market, this is the time that you're going to need to sell everything. If you want to buy a couple green of the good ones that you know are going to be good, specifically talking about brutality, dominance, the Gong one is a good example, prosperity for those HP. If you're sitting on legendary ones on the live server currently, you're going to want to sell those, guys. Because this now becomes 100% easier than what the system is. Insignias are going to go down in price on the live servers by a significant margin once this system launches. So I'm sorry, Nick. There's pros and cons to you telling people to buy out the market on green ones because you're going to flip a profit. Because people are only going to have to buy a green one, theoretically, right? You could buy a green Dominance and then upgrade it yourself all the way to Legendary, assuming you have the reagents and the refinement, right? My suggestion is as a new player, you want to try to get a hold of as many purple ones that you can afford to then sacrifice that purple one for the refinement points, right? Even legendary ones. Myself, I'll tell you guys, I've been buying out a lot of cheap legendary ones, anticipating mythic ones coming. Legendaries give 250. That's a very low number. It takes 2 legendaries to turn into powder just to make 1 legendary. So if they make mythics and they're going to cost 1,000, now you're going to need 4 legendaries to convert into the powder and then upgrade a legendary into mythic. Now, as I previously mentioned, there is a cap on it. You can only have 100,000 powder at any time. So to even put that into perspective, that's 2,000 epic insignias to max out your powder at 100k. That's 400, I think. Hopefully my math's correct. 400 legendaries to get 100k powder. Are you going to need 100k powder? No. I'm just putting this into perspective for you guys. Because, like I said, Nick unfortunately put a video out there and told everyone to buy green insignias. You're going to make a profit, right? Like, at green insignias, we're going for, like, less than 1,000 AD, and now all of a sudden, they're going anywhere, depending on your platform, for 5k AD to 20k AD. So, yeah, you made profit. Don't get me wrong, right? Like, I'm not trying to throw Nick under the bus, but when it comes to the financial advice, like, leave that to me. So, yeah, you're going to make profit, but going from 1,000 to 5,000 and you're only making 4k, it's not worth it. Insignias will no longer have an in-game economy when this system launches. Because, remember, guys, if you watch my previous video, you can buy epic insignias right out of the Tradebar store for 100 Tradebars. That's a very low amount of Tradebars. You can buy epic insignias from the Tradebar for 100. So right there, that already kills all the prices. Minus brutality, fortitude, and initiative because they're not in the Tradebar store. So if you're looking for investment options, you have to look at what's going to be in demand. So HP insignias, the brutalities, the fortitudes, those have a possibility of making you a little bit of profit. However, I see major declines across the board once the system goes into play because it's going to be so easy to obtain these items. I don't know how it is on PC, I don't know how it is on PS4, but on Xbox specifically, the market is way, way, way oversaturated with not only green, blue, and purple, but legendaries. I was buying legendary insignias for 30k, 40k, 50k, guys. That's for the bad ones, right? That's for ones that no one cares about, like evasion and stuff. And those are very cheap. And are those ones going to go down in price? Or now that everyone knows they're going to need powder, are they going to fluctuate a little bit? Right? I can't predict the market, but as a whole, it's going to go down. You sitting over there and buying 300 green insignias, yeah, you might make a very tiny profit margin. Is it going to be worth your time to fight with everyone else trying to do the same thing? Nah, I don't think so. My advice is buy what you need, but ultimately, legendary insignias in the long run are not going to be what they're currently worth. They're going to go down substantially. Even the good ones, even the dominances, even the brutalities, even the fortitudes, they're going to go down because it becomes very easy to obtain these now. Like I said, you can simply buy, you can start with an epic. You don't even need to start with a green one, right? If you didn't want to. If you didn't want to waste the 10k here and then what's it at blue, the 50k, you can just buy epic ones. You can buy an epic dominance right from the trade bar and then spend the 100k and the 500 reagent. And also, let's keep in mind that insignias are fairly easy to get if you farm them as well. They still drop out of skill nodes, so the green ones still drop out of skill nodes. They're still in dungeons dropping. Now, these are the base ones, of course, the brutality, the fortitude, and the initiative. That's a different story. You can buy those right out at Legendary right now. The market is very cheap on them, at least on Xbox, because we have the premium choice packs. So this is just a glance at the new system. Are they going to change anything to do with this? I don't know. Like I said, they're missing an ample opportunity right here. The current live system is 100%, right? But you needed 8 green, 4 blue, and 2 epic to even make 1 legendary. Now they've kind of simplified the process a lot. I don't know why they want to make this 100%. Like, I'm happy. I mean, keep it 100%. I mean, whatever. But I'm looking at it as a business aspect, and Cryptic is missing out on some revenue because they can simply just treat this like enchantments, and you would have to use Prez Wards, right? And then they're going to generate revenue off of Prez Wards. So for new players, hell yeah. I mean, I wish we would have had this system initially, because, you know, if you were around back in when Mod 16 initially launched, and you went through the whole process of now turning all your epics into legendaries, I paid a lot of money to do that, right? Because those green ones skyrocketed in price, right? The uncommon ones skyrocketed in price because you needed 8 per legendary, guys. So I'm glad to see they improved on this system overall. It makes it a lot easier. It's a lot smoother. You just have to have the reagents. You have to have the powder, so you have to sacrifice, you know, whatever you have. Remember the values. The green ones are only worth 2. Blue ones are worth 10. Epic's worth 50. Legendaries 250. So for instance, this one right here, this is something that I would be looking at and buying on the live servers, because no one in their right mind wants this, right? It's critical avoidance and control resistance. This is a refuge insignia. I was already buying these on live, guys, for anywhere from 30k to 50k. And that's just simply worth, to me, 250 powder. I gave you the numbers early. Remember, 2,000 epic insignias will max out your powder if you're into that sort of thing. I'm not saying you need 100k, but I'm just saying, that's what the cap is. And then 400 legendary, or mix and match. You need 200 legendary. You get the point. So this is wrapping up the video here. I didn't want to make it super long, but I did want to have a discussion on it. What's your overall feelings on this new system? Leave me a comment below. I like the system. Like I said, this is what should have happened in the first place. But we have it now. So leave me your feelings, comments, feedback below. Make sure you hit that like button. Really helps the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, that's it, guys. That's all I got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys real soon.